Ah, Funko Pops. You love them, I love them. An art teacher I used to have hated them with such a burning passion that she wouldn't let me put them in my project. It was a paintable shoe. Reused intros and childhood trauma aside, there's a certain novelty to them. And recently, a whole bunch of Godzilla ones were revealed for the G-Man's 70th anniversary. Wait, what even is the plural for Godzilla? Godzillas? Godzilla? I'm going with a gaggle of Godzillas. Anyway, when I saw this gaggle of Godzillas, a light bulb the size of a rampaging radioactive Rex condensed into a cute and cuddly collectible with precious pure pupils that stare into the depths of my morbidly meaningless mind went off in my head. Why not rank every Godzilla Funko Pop based on how faithful they are and cool they look instead of contributing to society? And throw in a lot of amazing alliterative adjectives for a funny gag in the intro. I've been discussing a lot of focused topics recently, so this video is going to be a little goofy. Enjoy. So to start, let's lay some ground rules. Rule 1. Any variants or jumbos will not be included in this ranking. So I'm sorry all Chase Godzilla 1984 limited edition fans, all two of you are going to be disappointed. Rule 2. No Kongs. I frankly just can't be bothered to research his ones as well. I mean, is his name in the title? He can go hang out with his other monkey friends and write the entire works of Shakespeare on a typewriter or something. Rule 3. I won't be discussing the many keychains or figures or anything. If it's in this type of box and this type of style, it's included. Rule 4. No human or any character not directly related to Godzilla is allowed. For example, Mechagodzilla 2021 is included because he's based on the Toho character, but Scar King and Shimu are not because they are Monsterverse exclusives. Rule 5. Finally, this is all just my personal opinion, by which I mean it's correct in every way, shape or form, and if you think differently, you're wrong, plain and simple. So after 2 intros worth of, well, intros, what do I think is the worst Funko Pop specifically from the Godzilla franchise? Well, it's none other than 20. Mechagodzilla 2021. Now, don't get me wrong, the design is pretty good and very accurate, but I just have beef with this guy. He was how I found out that Mechagodzilla was in the Monsterverse, and when you view him as the first reveal of his on-screen design, yeah, it's not looking too good for him. Not to mention that this occurred months before the film released, and I had to keep this to myself for over 2 years until I finally got around to watching it. And it's for this reason I made a cameo in one of my earlier videos. I'll give a shout out to the first person to find it. 19. Godzilla 1621. I don't know what movie this pop is from, so I named it after its number. It's about the figure itself. What the biscuits is that? To answer my own question, horrendous. Colour, the scales, and especially the nostrils. It's also yuck. To make matters worse, it's a summer festival exclusive. Which is actually a good thing, because it means nobody's missing out. 18. Godzilla. Wait, what? Godzilla is on this list? I had no idea. I decided to keep the original name since it's the first ever pop of the G-Man. It's just a little too smooth and coloured a bit differently than I'd expect, and looking at it reminds me of a slightly old discoloured Lego figure. But as the first one, it's pretty decent. The other ones just knock it out of the park. 17. Godzilla Ultima. Based on the Netflix anime Godzilla Singular Point, this pop captures the design of that Godzilla really well. However, due to the nature of the show, it doesn't really look like Godzilla, but just a generic monster. I don't really have anything else to say about this pop. Guess unlike the show, I'm actually not too confusing. 16. Godzilla 2021 Atomic Breath. Now we're getting into the good ones. For most Godzilla pops, there's a variant with the Atomic Breath, and I don't hate them, but I enjoy the standard ones more. This one's based on Godzilla vs. Kong, and I'm guessing it's based on the scene where he casually drills a hole through the Earth's crust. It's not bad by any means, just a bit generic. 15. Godzilla 1954. Here we go, the first of the 70th anniversary pops I mentioned at the start of this video. I appreciate the callback, and the reference to this classic image with him holding the plane is done really well, but it doesn't stand out as much as it could have. 14. Godzilla 2021. I don't really have anything to say about this pop. While the first MonsterVerse design pop is accurate, but there's another one with basically the exact same look, in a better position, and doesn't look like an absolute psychopath on the box art. 13. Godzilla Ultima Atomic Breath. If you've seen the Singular Point anime, please let me know if it's worth watching. But you also probably remember the Atomic Breath, as it's really unique, being in rings. The designers captured this perfectly, and it's definitely the best Atomic Breath version by far. 12 and 11. Godzilla 2024 and Godzilla 2024 Atomic Breath. This one's from the most recent Godzilla movie, being Godzilla X, The New Empire. No idea why that's there, but it's cool and edgy, so I don't mind. He's a mixed bag, because he's the embodiment of the flaws I mentioned earlier, as he's pink. However, if you remember, this is all my own opinion, so he's up here. I've also lumped the Atomic Breath version in with him, because while it's a little bit better, there's not enough differences between them to justify an extra section. But this one's fair game, I guess. 10. Godzilla 2014. This is arguably the best MonsterVerse pop for casual collectors, as it's the iconic design with no extra pizzazz. Okay, side note. Saying that previous sentence out loud makes it sound like I collect pops with a passion, but I don't. I genuinely have no idea where this video came from. 9. Mechagodzilla Classic. Despite being from the early 60s, this design still holds up surprisingly well. I'm more of a Kiryu guy myself, but I can still see that this guy deserves his spot. If only I'd have been as unbiased with the other Mechagodzilla.
8. Godzilla sleeping. Okay, I'm going to be quiet in this part, as I don't want to wake him up. Based on the scene where Godzilla makes like a cat and sits on the expensive furniture, this pop is absolutely adorable.
You know what? No, I can't take it anymore. My voice already hurts and I ain't doing this for some bit. Now, where was I? You may think that this would be next to Pride and Prejudice over there, since I saw both of these way before I saw the film. Since the trailer was out, I just assumed it was from this scene, where Godzilla goes pink. Only when I had left the theatre did I realise that it was from probably the best part of the film. That couldn't have happened with Mr. Subtle as a brick to the face. Also, this person made a little coliseum for their pop, which is somehow even more adorable. 7. Godzilla 1999. Once again, my bias comes in clutch, as I can't get enough of 2000's Godzilla's design. The dark green scales are unfortunately missing from the sky, which is why he isn't any higher, but he's at his aim game in pretty much every other department. He's got the fangs, the ears, and thankfully, the purple dorsal plates. If you want an example of me showing how much I love this design, look no further than this poster. Seem familiar? 6. Gigan. In an earlier video, I made a joke about Godzilla beating a robot chicken in a fight. This was that robot chicken. In fact, this was the first monster to make Godzilla bleed, because nobody likes Hedorah. They nailed his design down to a point, and I love how they incorporated the buzzsaw belly. If you're confused or concerned about that sentence, just stick around. It isn't even close to the craziest thing about Godzilla. Not even close. 5. Mothra. Yeah, I'm as surprised as you are. This is the second to last monster I saw them doing, after this guy. Even I don't know his name. I'm surprised how well she translates into a pop, but I suppose when you've got the eyes down, the rest follows suit. She also comes with the new Godzilla, but I have no real unique opinions on him, so he just bundled with her. This was the last pop I found for this lift after scouring the internet, which made a nice even 20. 4. Shin Godzilla 2016. I've only seen Shin Godzilla once, at 1 AM, but it still left an impression on me due to the realism and the terrible sinking feeling that it gives me. But look how cute this little goofball looks. He wouldn't hurt a fly. Vomit spicy purple lasers? Maybe. This little tyke is just so far from this and yet so close that it's the perfect balance. 3. Mecha King Ghidorah. Who else to take the number 3 spot than the King's greatest foe? This 3-headed threat has a few robotic replacements and brings the whole pop together. Plus the way that this model looks very squishy while also looking sturdy, and this makes for one great pop. 2. Burning Godzilla. This is by far the best Monsterverse pop. I know I said I wasn't going to do any variants, but technically, this guy isn't. When the Godzilla vs. Kong line released, they made a pop for each previous Godzilla movie, which is how we got Godzilla 2014 and this guy. Although he does use the same model as Godzilla 2014, his box does specify his name. This means that unlike this other fantastic burn Godzilla which I'd have loved to include, he's not a variant. He also glows in the dark as well as having an eye-catching blend of the colours. Also, I'm including Neon City Godzilla with him, as I didn't know about him until I started recording. 1. Godzilla 1984. But for number 1, I've got to give it to 1984 Godzilla. The colours are superb, and it all just feels like I would imagine the perfect Godzilla Funko Pop to look like. From the slight padding to be accurate to the suit, the colour and textures of the scales, and even the white and black dorsal beats that tie it all together. Not to mention that the proportions are perfect, making this the ultimate dust collector. I can't wait to get my hands on... pre-order? So that's it. Every Godzilla Funko Pop, all 20 of them, ranked. If I seemed a little too harsh, that's because when I'm making a ranking video, I usually try to justify the position of each contestant, meaning that I focus on the negatives for the ones in the first half and praise the ones in the second part. In other news, I'm going to be live streaming another Hollow Knight speedrun this Saturday, so maybe go check that out. If you can't make it or just don't want to, I'll be making a condensed version for my next video. But anyway, have a wonderful day and I'll see you all later.
How do you do this? Godzilla's actually pretty cool, except when he's hungry. Quick, throw the Snickers.
You're not you when you're hungry. Snickers satisfies. See the new Godzilla in theaters May 16th.